friends, and welcome back to Warframe Guides. Now, we've covered over what to do in the very beginning, we've covered over credits and endo, and now we will begin covering one of the next very basic essentials, which will be the solar map, different types of missions, and how to complete them. Okay? Now, before we go any further, I'd like to thank everybody for watching this, or even much less clicking on this, viewing this. I hope that all these guides and this one as well, and any of them in the future will provide a decent amount of knowledge for you, at least give you an idea of what you're doing in the game. I know this game can be monotonous at times, can be boring, but stick with it. Trust me, it'll get a lot more fun and lots more stuff left to do when you hit the mid to late game areas in the game. This has a lot of stuff to do. The only flaw with it is it just doesn't really give you a lot of resources to work with in the beginning, and that's where I'm coming in. Me and several other people that are making guides on YouTube, you can look up and view. So you can follow the guides, and you'll end up finding where to go, and that's exactly where we're going to go. These guides are meant to go for aimed at lower levels, people who've just begun. This is going to be a video by video, step by step, play by play of what to do from the very beginning all the way up to the point where, well, basically where I'm at now, where I have almost everything in the game and all my gear is strong enough to last at least an hour to 2 hours in just about anything I do. Okay? My goal is to make videos so you can follow them and get yourself as strong as I am. Okay? And also hopefully not to lead you astray. But that's for another time. So, anyway, onward. Now, in the beginning of your quest, in the beginning of your journey for this whole wonderful hullabaloo of how to Warframe, in the very beginning, you will have to deal with the navigation. Here you will lead yourself to the solar map. All of this, and each one of these have a crap ton of little mission nodes. I've gone over a little bit of this in the very first video of this, I know. Or in the very first video of the series, I know this. But now we're going to get into what different types of missions there are. So, you have your very basic one, which is a little white dot or a little bright big blue dot, depending on if you've unlocked it or not. If it's gray, you haven't gotten to it yet. If it's blue, it's unlocked, but you haven't done it. And if it's white, you've done it, and you can do it again to reform or farm up as many resources as you need. That's basic. Then you have little lotus-like symbols. It's kind of hard to see it because the icons don't zoom in like they really should when you zoom in on the planet itself. But that is a lotus symbol. It'll look like it's basically the Warframe's icon. And what these are called dark sectors. Now, dark sectors are almost always infested. And dark sectors, almost every planet will have a dark sector. And these dark sectors are a bit tougher, almost always infestation, and will give bonuses. For example, cancel. You look at this, bonuses is on this one is this dark sector in particular will give all resource drop rate a 10% boost, kills grant 10% more experience than usual, and it will grant an additional experience when you kill someone with a rifle, like a Soma, a Supra, even as simple as a Brat, an MK1 Brat. Okay, this will give you bonus kills and or bonus experience, and every dark sector is different. Like this one down here, for example, the ones on Ceres gives 35% more bonus on the resource drop rate, 26 bonus on the kills, an additional more 21 experience from melee kills. Okay, and that's on Ceres. The one before was on Venus and Earth. Earth gives 15 resource drop rate, 12% on
Navigation
experience
has
gain
been
from
updated
kills,
with new invasions.
and then you got an
Chaos is
additional experience gain from melee kills, and that's the one on Earth. Okay, those are going to be one of the best types of missions you can do for farming, at least for that planet, because you'll find all kinds of nifty stuff in it, and it gives you bonus stuff, like your percentages are increased. Okay, I highly recommend doing those. Now, in the previous very first video of this series, I already covered the Venus Junction, how to do them. This is what the icon looks like. You use this, clear it, and it will take you to the next mission, or the next planet rather. Okay, now example is not all planets will have a junction, but most of them will. Okay, and another one is one of the more important ones, is you'll see this one right here. It looks like a little crown thing. Okay, looks like a little crown. Another, let me get to a better one. Here we go. This one. This is a crown. This is called a boss mission. Okay, every planet will have a boss, or almost every planet. Okay, looks like a little crown thing, and you go in there and you'll have to fight the boss, and different planets will drop different rewards when you go and kill them. But again, I'll get into that here soon, as to what to do, what boss to get something out of it. Farming, essentially, but that's what the icon looks like. And this one down here is a nightmare mission. Now, nightmare missions are basically normal missions, but but these nightmare missions will have specific mods on it to make it tougher. Okay, you know how you go into some games, you play the mission, or you can add modifiers to it to make it tougher on you, but you'll get a better reward out of it. Yeah, this is a lot of the same mechanic. This one is a rescue mission, just an ordinary little rescue mission against the Grenier faction. But the thing is that its modifier is that enemies will die in an explosion. Even if you don't use an explosive weapon, they will die in an explosion, and the explosion, if it catches you in it, will harm you. Okay, some different modifiers is it'll have lower gravity.
Tenno,
You'll
there's a time
jump
limited
once
mission
and
alert.
you'll fly all over the
Check
place.
navigation.
Another one will have no shields. Other one will have draining health constantly. Some will have draining energy constantly. It just really depends. But if you can actually complete them, it'll give you a very special type of mod called a nightmare mod. Now, when you complete one of these, it'll give you the mission, or it'll give you the mod, but if you try and go and do it again, you can do it again for the experience, but it won't give you another mod. Nightmare missions is a one-time shot. You gotta wait until they refresh. Okay? And then that's basically it for the basic ones. You'll end up coming across something a lot like these that look like little blood drops on them, or 3 blood drops, and they're called Kuva missions. But I'll get into those later on, because that's much further into the game. But if you run across these, don't really worry about them. Of course, you won't be able to get to them until you get done with the quest that relates to it. But that's another thing. If you end up seeing one of these things, don't worry about it until later. So, then we got the rest of them you'll actually be able to see in your navigational mission alert tab, which is up here. You can hit this little minus button to extend it. Okay. Now, the alert thing is, well, quite literally an alert. Some missions will grant you resources. Others are cosmetic blueprints for different warframes, and others are just as small as a little credit cache. Okay. It can be sometimes a big bounty of endo. It could be a special mod. It could be a weapon type. Could even be parts to a warframe called Vobin. Okay. So I always want to keep check on that. Another one is invasions, where you'll go in and you'll side with one faction or the other, unless it's infested. Then you will side whatever is going against the infested, because you can't side with the infested. Okay, the goal is to kill it. Okay. Now, in order to do an infested invasion, or in order to do an invasion in general, is you will go in, it'll take you to the planet that you have it unlocked, and it'll have like a little fist icon. You click on one, and it'll give you the choice between whether you want to do the normal mission or the actual invasion. You click on this. This is what it looks like. And if you side with one faction or the other 3 times, and you support them 3 times, when the invasion is done, you will receive your battle tag. And if you need Feldrons or Detonite injectors, I recommend doing invasions, because they'll often pay you 1 to 3 depending on what they are. Now, another one is called Void Fissures. And this is going to be something we'll be covering in another video, which relates to getting these giant little ball, crystal, stone-looking things called relics. You'll use them in these fissures. It's a type of mission where you have to do like a special objective. Crack open it, and you'll get special prime parts, all that stuff. But the little flame-looking thing is what it looks like. And then sorties, it'll look like you got 3 little diamonds and then a ribbon underneath it. Don't worry about it. And don't worry about him. You'll get to sorties later on. In the previous video, you remember me speaking of the Anasa sculptures. You'll remember seeing them. They are actually a reward for completing the series of sortie missions. Okay, but you don't want to deal with these until you're much stronger, and you won't be able to get to them to begin with until you get later into the game. So, but that's the mission types, okay? Well, the mission node icons. And as for the mission types, we're going to go into our codex over here. We're going to go to our missions, and here is a list of all kinds of them. An assassination, which is usually going in and killing a boss, usually. You go in and eliminate their presence in the area. You go kill the boss in Venus. That's an assassination target. Get in, kick the target's ass, kill him, and get out. That's an assassination. Capture. Same mechanic, but rather than hunting down a boss and killing him, you're going to go and find a capture target that has a lot of information, and you're going to kick his ass, knock him down, and you're going to capture him and then get out. Very simple. The assassination and capture are very simple. And one is that one you take them, the other one you kill them. Deception. Deception is essentially a sabotage. Is another word for it. But yeah, it's basically a sabotage where you take a payload, is what this dude's holding right here. You may not be able to may not be able to see it very well. But you go in, you press and hold it, and when you're holding this payload, you cannot use your primary weapon, only your secondary and primary. You're supposed to go to the objective, inject the payload into the data mass, or the data mass into the computer, infect the whole area, and basically just go in, screw with their enemy's shit, and then get out. That's basically what a sabotage is. A defense, you will have one pod. Of course, each one of these will have their own little definitions. I'm basically just simplifying it. You got one target, and it's a pod. It's an inanimate object. You're supposed to defend it. You and whoever else, or you solo, doesn't matter. And you go and defend it as much as you can, as long as you can. And you go until you can't defend it anymore. And every 5th wave you can extract. And your main objective is to make sure its health bar does not reach 0, essentially. Excavation. Excavations are very similar to defense, but these will actually give you rewards, and this will actually give you a type of resource called cryotic. Excavations are the only way you will ever get cryotic, okay? You will need to go and find power cores. You'll be able to see them strapped to some types of enemies, strapped to their back. You want to kill them, take the power cores, and make sure that the excavators are properly powered up. You want to make sure that they are defended until the timer runs out. Then they will explode and give you your reward of either a mod or a type of thing, a bundle of endo credits, even a type of Warframe, depending on what mission you're going on. Okay, but it will always give you cryotic no matter what it is. Exterminate, basically go in, kill everything you see. If it moves, it dies. kill as much as you can until the Lotus says, alright, you're good, you can stop now, and then you leave. Exterminates are very easy and quick. Hijacks. You go in, you basically hijack a piece of equipment from the enemy faction, and you bring it to extraction. And you're going to have to defend it as it moves, because there's a lot of enemies that don't like you stealing their crap. Hive Sabotage is basically the same thing as a normal sabotage, but rather than carrying a payload of data to infect a massive computer, this one's going to be against the infestation, as it is an organic type of enemy. You're going to go in and destroy very sensitive organs within the infected area. This will hurt it and slow its growth, and it'll basically help it. How you do it is you go in, you find the big massive tumor, which is this thing right here, and then that's a tumor node. Now, you're going to have to find 5 little smaller tumor nodes around it. And this one's red, but the other ones are going to glow bright orange. The red one cannot be destroyed until you get the 5 oranges. Okay? Kill the 5 oranges to get the apple. Interception. Am I on the right one? Yes, interception. Okay, interception is a mission very much like defense, but it will be 4 different points. You don't have to worry about defending it, but you do have to make sure that it is in your control. This is a type of King of the Hill kind of retrospect type of mechanic, where you go in, you stand on the place, you capture it, it's in your name, and you start to gather data. The more points you have in your control, the more, it's basically a domination. King of the Hill type of game mode. You go in, keep it in your control, wait until your bar hits 100 before theirs. You do it, you win. If they get to it before you do, you lose. Okay? Mobile defense. This is a mix between a sabotage and a defense, where you have to go and take a payload to multitudes of different computers within the mission and put in the payload, let the Lotus do her thing, and you have to keep the console safe while the Lotus does her thing. This usually is about 2 to 3 consoles per mission, and it usually lasts about around 1 minute to 2 minutes every single one of these consoles. You defend it, you get done, pick up the payload, go to the next one, wash, rinse, repeat until the payload is gone and all the consoles are hacked. Then you get out and receive your reward. Not really probably one of my least favorite types of missions. Recovery. Recovery is a very special type of mission, and it's essentially where a type of death squad will come after you, and it's called the Zanuka Hunter. If it managed to down you, and you do not have any allies to come get you, then you will be captured and taken to a very special area. You will not have your weapons. You will not have anything other than your fists and your feet. You will have to escape your confinement and get your way back to your orbiter. It's very irritating, and thankfully I've never had to do it. But if you have to do it, if you see a Zanuka Hunter, take your time and try and run from it until you can whittle it down and kill it. The Zanuka Hunter is a lot stronger than what's the boss on Jupiter, which again we'll come to later on. And the death squads and one of them being a Zanuka Hunter we'll get to as well. Okay. Let's see here. Rescue. You and whoever else is with you, you're going to go into the mission. You're going to find an ally of yours, an NPC, that has been captured by an enemy faction. You're going to go in, bust their ass out, and run. Basically, a jailbreak. Sabotage. Well, same thing. Between a deception and a sabotage. Let's see it. Hack their navigation console, redirect their path. This data mask spawn, carrier. Okay. And then sabotage, infiltrate. Okay. So a deception and sabotage are essentially the same thing, but the deception is you take a infected payload of data. You go in and you put it in their computers and it gives them a massive virus. Sabotage is where you go in and you break their shit. Essentially, you're destroying their property. and rightfully so, because they're all idiots.
New
And
alert marked on navigation.
usually not very
channel.
good people. You get the idea. Spies. This is one of the most stealthiest, if not the stealthy mission in the game. This, if you really want to do practice on your stealth in the ninja game of Warframe, this is where you do it. Spy missions will have 1 to 3 different consoles and a very complex maze of contraptions. Some are very easy, some are very difficult, depending on what the map is laid out as. You'll have to contend with not setting off the alarm. You will have to contend with enemies not seeing you, and you'll have to contend with cameras. Do not trip off lasers, do not trip the alarm. Your goal is to get in and silently retrieve and hack all the data without tripping any alarms. You get special rewards, usually, or bonus rewards, if you manage to do this, all 3 of them, without tripping a single alarm. Now, if you manage to trip an alarm during the mission, that's fine, but once you get to one of the data mass doors, which you'll have to hack in order to open so you can begin that area of the maze. Once you get to the maze doors, you cannot trip its alarm. Okay? Survivals. Perhaps my favorite mission, actually is my favorite mission in the entire game. Survival is very self-explanatory. You get in and you basically just shoot and kill anything that moves. Unfortunately, it's not quite that simple. The area is usually clogged, and you will need to have your oxygen resupplied with life support. These massive towers in the background will drop every so often, and you'll want to use them around 30%. When your life support hits about 30 to 40%, you want to use one. Of course, killing enemies will drop personal life support pods that will replenish your life support by about 4 to 5%. So essentially, yeah, you want to kill as much as you possibly can, as quickly as possibly can. The objective is to keep your air up and the enemies down as much as possible, as long as possible. Probably one of my most favorite mission nodes, because it's also the best way to farm resources. Cephalon Capture. Now, Cephalon Capture, this is actually a PvP mission node. You will not come across this in the solar map, but rather the PvP. And this is essentially capture the flag, essentially. This is Warframe's version of capture the flag. You go in, you and a bunch of buddies, or you and a bunch of randoms versus an enemy team of actual players, not NPCs or enemies, actual players, and you must take their Cephalon, the little cube-looking thing, and bring it back to your base. Okay. Team Annihilation. Again, this is a PvP. This little dude here in the middle is I forget his name. Tencho? Tencho? I forget his name. But he's one of the, think of him as a grand master of martial arts, and he's holding a massive like PvP, like arena kind of thing. And Annihilation is Warframe's version of Team Deathmatch. Lunara. Okay, again PvP, because the middle dude's in right there, or Conclave is the correct term for it, but PvP essentially. And now Lunaro. Think of football, but in Warframe, essentially, is what that is. So that's all the mission types, and if you want to do the last few mission types I was telling you about the Conclave, you'll find it by doing this. You see your navigation right here? To the right, you'll see your Conclave, PvP, alright? The daily standing, that's a syndicate type, and we'll get into syndicates later on. But if you just want to do it for the hell of it, have fun. Go right ahead. But forewarned, it takes a special type of taste, because the PvP in this game is not really that fun, and that's coming from someone who's played this game for almost 5 years. Anyway, so, excuse me. All that talking made my throat very dry. Anyway. Alright, so we've covered mission types and the solar map and how to navigate it. Oh yes, and one more thing. If by chance you've done quite a bit and you don't really know what to do, or if you want to progress in the story, I recommend you continue doing your quests. do your quest, okay? The quest can be obtained. The quests explain a lot of lore. Lore is all over this game. You'll find them from the primed Warframe trailers on YouTube or on the website. You'll find a lot of lore in the forums of the game, and a lot of it you'll find, the majority of it you will find in the quests themselves. You've already completed one by Vor's Prize, but some of them a lot of them you will find by just completing previous quests, and you'll get the previous quests from completing the junction. Okay, so always make sure you're doing your solar map, your mission nodes, the junctions, and your quests. Your quests are of top priority. Isn't that right, Rhino? Yep, even he agrees. Alright, so anyway, I'm going to leave this one here. We've done enough explaining for one video, I'm sure. Next time, we'll be looking into something else that's one step right after this. We're going to be taking this one step at a time. Thank you, everybody, for watching. I hope you all enjoyed it, found this all informational. Veterans of this game, if you have any tips or tricks of something that I have not covered yet, or if you just want to leave advice of your own, down in the comments below. Newcomers, make sure you read the comments, because there's going to be a lot of information down there eventually, I'm sure. And if not, well, you got your codex, trust me. Alright, thank you, everybody, for watching. Hope you all enjoyed it. Make sure to like and subscribe and become part of the Hellion family. Leave a comment down below if you have any questions or any advice for that matter. We have a Discord server if you would like to join it. I'll leave a link to that one and the Discord? Leave a Discord in the Discord. Yes, that makes sense. Leave a Discord in the description. There we go. Frack. Anyway, thank you, everybody, for watching. Hope you all enjoyed it. As always, I will see all of you in the next one. See ya.